Hi, my name is Grant Goodall. I work in the Department of Linguistics at the University of California, San Diego. My main area of research is in syntax, which means that I'm interested in the way that sentences and phrases are put together in human language. More concretely, I try to answer questions like, how is it that languages of the world are alike in terms of their structure, and how are they different? To what extent do these structures follow from the ways that our brains are built to manage language? And to what extent do they follow from more general properties of human cognition? How is it that humans are able to produce and understand these structures in real time? And how is our ability to do this, how does it develop in childhood and evolve over the course of the lifespan? So I've worked on a wide range of languages to try to address these questions. And for the last decade or so, I've mainly done this in a laboratory setting, so doing experiments with large numbers of speakers of various different languages. I find that this is tremendously exciting work, and I feel very privileged to be able to do it. Since I've spoken Esperanto for most of my life, I'm sometimes asked how Esperanto fits into this research project. And to a large extent, it doesn't, of course, because there's so many languages to work on, and most of them are a lot easier and more convenient to work on than Esperanto. And ultimately, we're interested in the properties of human language in general, not just any particular language. Nonetheless, there are some ways in which Esperanto is of special interest. And perhaps the most obvious of these is the very unusual historical origin and its current diasporic status. And I've done some work in those areas. So I'll mention two areas that I'm particularly interested in. One is that the people who created Esperanto and other languages of that time period, they did so with very few tools at their disposal. So there wasn't a lot known at the time about how languages are put together, although some important things were known. But the creators of these languages had to do the best that they could with what they had, often relying on their own intuitive understanding of what a human language looks like. So I find it fascinating to drill down into the details for Esperanto and for other languages of the period and see where things worked out remarkably well, because sometimes they did, and also where things didn't always work out so well, because sometimes that happened as well. So another topic that I find fascinating is the intersection of what we know about second language acquisition and what we know about Esperanto as a social movement. So structurally, Esperanto is a lot more complex than people usually imagine, and this means that, as with almost any other language, the acquisition process takes years, so not weeks and not months. This means that as a social movement, it consists of people who are in the midst of a years-long process, or who have gone through a years-long process. And unlike many political movements or religious movements, there is no flash of inspiration or sudden moment of conversion. So this fact, which is basically a psychological fact or a biological fact about the way that humans acquire a second language, this ends up having profound consequences for the way that Esperanto has developed as a social movement. So this gives you some idea of my own research interests and how they relate to those of the Esperantic Studies Foundation. Thank you.